Agriculture is more than Africa's economic backbone. Its story is shifting. From survival to innovation, from hand tools to smart tech, and from dependence to self driven transformation. It feeds families, it fuels innovation, and it holds potential to provide jobs for the growing youth population. But this isn't agriculture of the past. Across the continent, a new chapter is being written. One where drones deliver seeds, mobile apps link farmers to the market, and soils are being analyzed by artificial intelligence. It is agriculture reimagined by Africans for Africans. That's exactly what played out this week in Kigali, Rwanda, as innovators, farmers, researchers, investors, and policymakers came together for one of the most important agriculture gatherings on the continent, the Africa Conference on Agriculture Technologies 2025. With the theme Next Gen Ag Tech Solutions for Africa's Farmers, this 4-day forum was about more than ideas. It was about real tools, real partnerships, and real transformation rooted in the realities of African farming. This week on INFOCUS, we unpack the key moments from the Africa Conference on Agriculture Technologies 2025, which just wrapped up here in Kigali, Rwanda. I am Amanda Bahenda, the voice you trust, the insight you need, and welcome to the program. ACAT 2025 was not just a showcase of innovation, it was a call to action. The conference brought together innovators, policymakers, farmers, and founders to rethink agriculture from the soil up.
Right at the onset, I would like to convey gratitude to the government and people of the Republic of Rwanda for hosting us here in Kigali.
Let me at this point sincerely acknowledge the leadership of AATF for creating this very important platform, the ACAT, which has added a strong voice to the African agricultural conversation. It is an opportunity to showcase capabilities and potentials and a rallying point to articulate our agricultural agenda for the good of the continent. As we gather here, we must recognize that Africa stands at a historic crossroads. On one road lies the continued struggle with food insecurity anchored on underutilized land, limited use of innovative technologies, and fragmented markets. On the other lies a bold vision, one that beholds Africa as a global powerhouse in food and nutritional security, powered by innovation, partnerships, and transformative investments.
The agri-tech we are talking about ranges from smart irrigation to digital extension tools. The future of African agriculture must be practical, inclusive, and grounded in farmer realities.
As we gather here today to discuss agricultural technology, this conference should not be another conversation. We are here for solutions. Each person in this room, farmers, policymakers, researchers, and innovators, has a role to play in shaping the future of our agriculture. This future depends on ensuring that every farmer has access to reliable and sufficient input, precision farming tools, and real-time market data, among others. Distinguished guests, as we are all aware, agriculture remains the backbone of our economies, employing over 60% of the population and contributing approximately 23% to Africa's GDP. However, Despite the vast potential of our continent lands and human capital, many African farmers continue to face significant production challenges. These include climate conditions, outdated agricultural practices, limited access to markets, and inadequate financing. To address these barriers and secure the future of agriculture in Africa, we must leverage technology and innovation as essential drivers of its transformation. Today, hard work alone is no longer sufficient. Agriculture must be sustainable and attractive, especially for our young generation.
From energy and internet access to transportation and storage, panelists unpacked how Africa can build the system it needs today while preparing for the demands of AI, robotics, and precision agriculture tomorrow.
I would like to recall a conversation I had like a few weeks ago with a group of farmers, that agriculture for them is not a project, but it's life. That's what they do every day. And they give life through agriculture, and that gives them a sense of purpose.
One of the major #1 problem farmers are always facing is because of the power imbalance along the value chain, the governance of value chains, that even if you produce well and efficiently, you still get a raw deal. And there's technology that can be used. I understand, and I don't know, but I understand blockchain can be used to actually be able to track how things are distributed across the chain. So there is some value and principles around equity and fairness in the distribution of risk and return.
Yeah.
A farmer could end up with 50% more income just by talking and by realignment, not by increasing their practices. Those are soft issues.
Agriculture is a risky business, and so we cannot fund, we cannot finance, you shy away from it in that sense. Do you personally hold to that opinion as well?
Thank you, Anangwe. First, risk is in every place, everywhere, including the air we breathe. Could prove to be risky,
Yes.
Particularly in times of COVID. So agriculture, just like any other business, has risks. But the way we tend to look at risks is from the other side. How can we mitigate these risks? How can we work with the available means to put deterrence from these risks crystallizing? And I think one of the ways is and I think agriculture has lagged behind in terms of using technology to actually deal with those risks. I'm glad to see that we are beginning to bring technology to agriculture, which then provides hinge points to start looking at how do I design financial products around those risks, but using technology, AI, for example, and I'm glad to see the innovators in the room. How can we deal with those risks? And on this panel, I've seen public sector, one of the ministers said it properly, IFAD and all the others, everybody bringing what they are good at on the table. For the banks that I represent here, the issue is not money. The money is available.
The money is available.
The money is available.
We are not dancing enough.
Very available. For sure, money is available. And agriculture being one of the resilient sectors of this economy, or even other economies, I'm sure every one of us, every morning or at lunch or dinner, we eat. So there's a ready market. There's a ready market.
But why is it that always top of the challenges is access to finance? Yet you're saying money is available.
Yes, it is the how that is a problem. It's the money is available, resources are available. It is knowing how to channel that money.
People talk about, when I first heard about solar energy, our plant being operated on solar energy, I was like, wow, that's good. We are going to get rid of the expensive electricity, but there needs more sensitization and access to information. If this is solar energy, there's the battery that's very expensive.
Yeah.
there's maintenance that needs to go with that. So farmers need to, I think policymakers and the people on ground need to do a lot of sensitizations.
One of the most reflective discussions explored how traditional farming wisdom can be woven into modern agri-tech. The takeaway: locally grounded solutions drive better adoption, trust, and resilience. ACAT 2025 puts sustainability front and center, from intellectual property rights to regenerative practices and ethical AI. These sessions emphasize responsible innovation as essential to lasting impact.
So first of all, I would say I'm very amazed about this ACAT conference. It's very amazing to see what technologies here lift up. And we see that there's an improvement in the whole value chain, because there's so much to do, but there are so many solutions we can see here at the ACAT conference. So I'm very confident that Africa at all will make a big step ahead in the next years.
We are talking of moving the talk, and as Africa Solidarity Fund, we are ready to put in place partnerships and create more awareness, but more importantly, we are here to talk to partners or projects that are willing to acquire those technologies with the players here and sign off partnerships.
I am from Latvia. This is country, Nordic country, Baltic country, and we have historically we have a pond nearly in every rural country house, and people grow fish and they feed themselves. They have fresh fish all the time. I believe this is one of options, and we are trying to promote us. So backyard farming, simple methods in African households could really give much more fresh food for people.
The theme for this year's ACAT, which is Next Gen Ag Innovations, taking Next Gen Ag Innovations to farmers, is a very critical one, and that is why we are here, because it forms the fulcrum of our program. The third program exists to take technologies, innovations to the last mile. And how do we do this? In the course of the past 7 years that we have been implementing the third program, we have discovered certain bottlenecks, certain challenges that are hindering the taking of these innovations to the farmers. What are those? Those are the bottlenecks. One is policy, lack of policy harmonization, agricultural policy bottlenecks, inability of countries in Africa to exchange technologies and innovations, the challenges in transferring seeds from one country to the other, seed harmonization challenges. And then we also notice the lack of involvement of the youth in African agriculture.
This now behoves on each of us to be accountable to the solutions that we have seemingly tried to prefer. For RFC, we would go back and continue with the projects that we already have on ground to ensure that these projects are brought to light and the impact is actually felt by the farmers. We're talking about the formulation of new blends for RFC, and to ensure that the information and the use, that's good agricultural practices, are enforced across the country to ensure that farmers end up, having improved and increased crop yield and also practice sustainable agriculture across board.
Allow me to highlight two areas. The first area is around post-harvest losses. The ag technologies that have been presented, is particularly by youth, is addressing some of these challenges where it is estimated, depending on the value chain, that up to 30% of what was produced is lost, which translates to loss of income for the farmer. And so these technologies can help address that challenge. I'll give an example. For instance, they could be these technologies, there were technologies, smart technologies around addressing storage issues, which have the potential to ensure that food is preserved, food that is produced is preserved. There were technologies that look at value addition, which is something that also addresses food loss and waste. Now coming to market access. The challenges that smallholder farmers face, it's both from the access to inputs markets as well as the output markets, which also contributes to the earlier problem I mentioned, challenge of food loss and waste. So we can have digital platforms with the young people. The brains of Africa are already developing, and these really hold the potential to solve these market linkages that farmers face, both from the input side as well as from the supply side. And this is also regarding both domestic as well as international markets. These digital platforms and these digital solutions that our young people are producing, our ag innovators are producing, needs to be scaled up so that they are both accessible and affordable to the small-scale farmers.
Agriculture isn't just about crops. It's about people, it's about innovation, and it's about the future we are growing together. ACAT 2025 showed us what's possible when those voices unite. We've seen the ideas, we've heard the voices. Now the focus shifts to action, to building what was imagined, scaling what works, and ensuring no farmer is left behind. As the conversations move from conference halls to the farm fields, Dr. Canisius Kanangire, the executive director of AATF, underscored his final message with a well-known African proverb.
Let me close my remarks by repeating the famous proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
This has been INFOCUS, telling Africa's agriculture stories from ground up. I am Amanda Bahenda from EAMG TV. Make sure to follow us on all our social media platforms. Goodbye for now.